victim is defending themselves.
Either way, it's an unnecessary internal dialogue.
Yep, it's wasting time. You're pretending like something is real and has some kind of effect.
I'm having a conversation with myself, an argument with myself, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess, just so I understand you then, if I'm at peace with myself, if I've removed and forgiven self, whether somebody attacks me or not, I'm not going to participate in this. I'm going to remain from a transcendental platform.
Forgive them for they know not what they do. Yeah.
And in this, forgive myself for I know not what I do.
True. I mean, but you do.
It's a leap of faith, though.
You can choose to know what you do, and you can also realize that you've already been forgiven. I mean, but yes, you must. I mean, if you're in the process of having to consciously, because it's changing that thought habit again. You're choosing to consciously change your mind from being upset that they act that way to choosing to forgive them in that moment instead. Then that also does take the forgiveness of self, because at one point you believed you could attack. Now you're relinquishing that and taking up your true power instead.
My true power to live with an actual free will, not a will I believe is free, because obviously, if I'm participating in some sort of negative drama, I feel I have an invested value in that, and that's where I found my meaning in what I've invested in. So I'm going to get my just rewards. I'm going to get a negative, distracting experience that actually just keeps me locked in this non-moment, this dragging the past to the present, right into the future, bypassing the present.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like watching the same bad movie over and over again instead of having, the camera constantly on.
It would seem undesirable, but immediately I think about my own thought processes, and I have to honestly ask myself, I must feel comfortable with certain pains. That's why I keep them around. They're comfortable, and it becomes a matter of faith to actually begin to invest meaning in something, a new frontier. And I was just saying last night, if I really understood the value of that new frontier, I would go and choose immediately for this and drop all past preconceptions. But obviously, I'm lucky to get glimpses, and that becomes my faith-based investment.
And even if you do, believe in it, until you don't fear manifesting it, act upon it. We were comfortable with these unhealthy thought habits because they're familiar and we know them, and we think even if it's kind of hit or miss, they'll keep us safe. Because we believe in that fear. We believe that they're there for a reason. And if I change that, then I'm throwing myself into the wilderness of fear. I'm exposing myself and making myself vulnerable, open for attack. So the process of choosing to change that thought habit becomes one of facing head on that fear.
It can be scary, but I swear if we, and I'm speaking to myself really when I say this, if I could really grasp the value of that new frontier, I'd like peace.
It's a leap of faith.
It is a leap of faith until we actually experience it, gain some confidence in our ability, and are strengthened by our new experience, which ironically leads us to the present, right back to this present moment. It's baffling to me sometimes, life. I don't claim to understand it, but it really does make me...
It's a weird one. It's interesting.
It truly, truly is.
Yeah.
This has indeed been an interesting discussion. If you would like to receive a PDF copy of her text, you are welcome to email Miss Dabney at world.as, that's as.was, W-A-S, at gmail.com. Let me give you that full address again. world.as.was@gmail.com. Include your name, age, and favorite book. She'd love to hear that. Miss Dabney will respond personally to any email she receives. Please also take into consideration that the text is nowhere near finished as it currently stands. But we are enjoying it each week here. At 7 o'clock will be the new showtime for this program, which is Existential Theism from an Experiential perspective. Join us next week, Sunday at 7, to discuss paper 4 in Miss Dabney's book, Is This all there is. Miss Dabney, are there any concluding thoughts you would like to add before we wrap up this week?
Yeah, just one final thought. This is a meditation I wrote a few years back, which better helps me orient towards the given moment in peace, despite how frustrating the actions of others seem to become. Perhaps some of you listening will hopefully find this helpful. Forgive them, for they know not what they do. They believe themselves separate, only see them in their fullness. They believe themselves vulnerable, only see them in their invulnerability. They believe themselves lost, only see them at home. They believe themselves fearful, only see them in love. They believe themselves helpless, only see them in their glory. They believe themselves condemned, only see them as saved. They believe they can make all of this true, only see truth as it is.
Thank you, Miss Dabney.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And that will conclude this week's discussion of existential theism from an experiential perspective. I'm Michael Wordsworth, wishing you a most peaceful and productive week.